Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to another episode of Seb Talks Sports, sponsored by Hoopin and Luton, the place to go to for your favourite new and vintage jerseys and apparel from all things basketball. That intro music and podcast theme was created by All-Pro New York Giants running back, now music creator and friend of the show, David Wilson. Go and check him out on all of his social media platforms at Fourstone Running on Twitter and Instagram, and his music under David E. Wilson across all good music streaming services. He's free for business, so drop him a message if you want some beats for your podcast, adverts, commercial, absolutely anything you need. Before I get into this episode, I just want to say that if you're not already following Seb Talks Sports across all platforms, then please do. You can find me on Facebook, Seb Talks Sports, YouTube, Seb Talks Sports, Twitter at Seb Talks Sports, and Instagram, where I'm primarily active. Again, it's at Seb Talks Sports. Today, I've got an absolutely amazing guest, one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, a two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler, who played for both the Giants and Cardinals, where he became a bona fide franchise legend, and one of just 7 running backs in NFL history to win Super Bowl MVP, when he balled out against the Bills in Super Bowl XXV at the age of 34. It's of course the one and only Ottis OJ Anderson. Enjoy. My guest today is one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, a two-time Super Bowl champion, the Super Bowl XXV MVP, a two-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler, and both a Giants and Cardinals franchise legend. It's an absolute honor to welcome Ottis OJ Anderson to Seb Talk Sports. Ottis, how are you?
Thank you very much, Sab. How you doing, bud?
I'm very, very good. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Not a problem.
Okay, I'd love to go right back to the very beginning, the early days of Ottis Anderson. So what are your earliest memories of the sport of football, and when was it that you truly fell in love with the game?
I started playing football when I was about in 4th, 5th grade, Little League, basically playing what we call sandlot football out in the streets in the sand with friends. And I think that's where you really start figuring out, do you like being hit or not being hit when you play games like that? And as you get older, you realize that the position that you chose might not have been the correct one, but you play them all so you learn. And from then I went to junior high school and fell in love with the game. I had an older brother who played the game, and he was pretty good at it, even though he didn't get a chance to live out his dream, but he played it very well, and I kind of followed his footsteps.
Very, very nice. And of course, you then went to college and you had a fantastic college career at Miami. Of course, you racked up 3,331 yards and 15 touchdowns rushing, as well as a further 539 yards and 5 touchdowns receiving, in an effort that saw you finish your time on the Hurricanes as both the school's all-time leader in rushing yards and single-season rushing yards, only since eclipsed by Duke Johnson. That, of course, gave you your incredibly high first-round draft pick status, which I'll get to. But I'd love to know, firstly, how much did you enjoy your time in Miami, and how did it prepare you to take that step up when turning pro as an NFL player?
Well, Miami at that time wasn't a dominant school, but one thing they were good for was playing all the top schools in the country and giving you exposure. And that was really one of the reasons I went to Miami, was an opportunity to showcase my talent and also maybe get a chance to play professional. And that's what Miami did. And as Miami program grew, and it really didn't take the leap that it needed to until my junior year, when Lou Saban, who was the coach of the Buffalo Bills, came down and took over the program. And what he did was install the pro-like system so that me and others who was in that system had a good chance, if we were to be selected or drafted, we would have a kind of up on a lot of players who may not have had a professional coach, such as him, who has a blueprint on helping you become the best you can be and be prepared to be a professional. So Lou Saban came in, as I said, my junior year, and he started grooming me on my talent and understanding the pro system, so that when I did turn pro, I wouldn't be behind as far as understanding of how it works and the intimate parts that make you probably different from other players who didn't have the system. And then my senior year, which what you said, I ended up becoming an all-time leader in rush of the history of Miami, and held that for 36 years. Didn't know that. And single season rushing champion as well, I held for probably about the same amount of years as well. So, but again, Miami gave me an opportunity, and that's why I went there, for education and also an opportunity to play professional football.
And he prepared you, of course, very well. Because I want to go now to early May 1979. On the 3rd of May of that year, it's the NFL draft. And after your future teammate, Phil Simms, was taken with the 7th overall pick by the New York Giants, you were sat there at number 8 when Bill Bidwell picked up the phone and gave you a call asking you to be the latest addition to a Cardinals team looking for their first winning season in 3 years. So I'd love to know, how did it feel to receive that call and join the longest established franchise in NFL history? What did it mean to you and your family?
Well, it was kind of weird because that Saturday, Ray Perkins, the late Ray Perkins, who coached the Giants, came down to Miami and took me out to dinner and told me they were the 7th pick in the first round and that they were going to select me.
Oh,
so
wow.
I spent the whole day and afternoon with Ray Perkins talking about Giants and the Giants way, and kind of got my mind kind of geared to play for the Giants. And then that Sunday, the Cardinals organization called me and said that they were picking 8th in the first round, and what was my take on being a Cardinal. And I said, well, I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm going to be picked by the Giants in the 7th, so I don't think I'll be around. They said, but what if they don't? I said, well, if they don't, I'd love to play for you guys, but I don't think I'm going to be there. So it was indeed a surprise when the Giants took Simms in the first round, the 7th pick. And I kind of blew me away because I had no idea that the Cardinals really were going to stick to their word on the 8th pick, and they did. And I was the first running back selected in that draft, and the records are what they are.
Yeah. Okay, so while you spent the second half of your pro career and finished your time in the NFL on Big Blue, of course, you spent just as much time in St. Louis as a Cardinal when you hit the ground running, to say the least. Recorded 5 1,000-yard rushing seasons in your first 6 years in red and white, including back-to-back 1,300-yard campaigns that saw you named to both All-Pro and Pro Bowl teams in your first 2 seasons in the league, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1979. So I'd love to know, with regards to your teammates, coaches, and all of the fans as the team that drafted you into the NFL, what did the Cardinals organization mean to you?
They meant a lot. I mean, they gave me my start. They gave me an opportunity to showcase my talent. Again, Miami wasn't the top powerhouse team in the country at the time, and they took a chance on a kid from West Palm Beach, Florida, who didn't have big stats like a lot of other running backs from other bigger schools at that time, with more reputations of professional athletes coming from their school and doing well. So they rolled the dice, and I was just glad that I was able to live up to the standards that the Bidwell family saw in me when they thought enough to have me in the first round and the 8th pick and the first running back pick. And it's been a happy marriage. Like you said, the first 5 or 6 years of my career, other than a work stoppage, I was over 1,000 yards. And I tell people all the time, I compare my first 6 years with any running back that's in the league that is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And if you put my stats up with any of those players that are Hall of Famer, you would see I right in the mix of it. When I retired in 92, I was the 8th leading rusher in the history of the NFL. The 8th leading rusher. Now I'm 31st leading rusher in the history, but my stats are what they are, and I just was glad that I had a chance with the Cardinals to live out my dream and to put myself in a position to to receive the second half of my career, which was when the Cardinals decided after the 7th season to trade me to the Giants in the middle of my 7th year, which started my first year with them. And the Giants was able and saw enough of me to, allow me to be there for 7 more years. So 14 total. And I had 2 careers, which I still say is enough to qualify me for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you in there at some point in the future. Okay, of course, we've got to talk about the night of the 25th of January, 1987, Super Bowl XXI. 2 yards out from the goal line, you punched it in to help the Giants rack up 39 points against the John Elway-led Denver Broncos. So how special was it to take to the field on the biggest stage of professional football and get your hands on the Lombardi Trophy for the Giants' first ever Super Bowl victory?
Well, I definitely have to thank Coach Parcells for that. He had me backing up Joe Mars and Maurice Cawthorn during the whole season. And he said to me, prior to me going in, he said, listen, kid, he said, I'm not sure if you or me will ever get back here again in a Super Bowl. He said, but for them 7 years that you put in, that hard work, sweat, and tears that you put in, I'm going to give you an opportunity to score in the Super Bowl, and hopefully you're able to do it. But this is just as a thank you for all those years you played against us, I'm gonna give you that chance. And he put me in the game, and I was able to score the touchdown in Super Bowl 21. And as we all never know when you're gonna go back again. 5 years later, we were back again, but it was a great gesture on his part to give me that opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Like you said, there was another chance to go back a few years later because Super Bowl 21 wasn't the only time you got yourself a ring. 4 years later in Super Bowl 25, you then defeated the Buffalo Bills, letting up just 19 points and had an incredible individual performance. 21 carries for over 100 yards and a touchdown in an effort that saw you win Super Bowl MVP, one of just 7 running backs in NFL history to achieve the feat. So how did it feel to become world champions once again, twice in just 4 years, and put on an MVP display at the age of 34, which I'm not sure a lot of people remember?
That's the oldest running back ever to win the most valuable player. That's wow. That's crazy. I had a great team. We had a great plan. We knew Buffalo was a team with the K gun with Kelly that they could put a lot of points on the board. And the only chance we had was to play keep away, to keep them on the sideline as long as possible, so that when they did get on the field, they was playing hurry up football, which would have gave us an opportunity to stay ahead of them by keeping them over there. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the only game in the Super Bowl that never had a turnover, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there was any turnovers in that game on either team. So not only did we play keep away, we didn't make that many mistakes offensively. And Parcells, the late Ron Earhart, my offensive coordinator, my position coach, Ray Hanley, they all took the time the night before the Super Bowl, which was that Saturday night, and they had a private meeting with me, and they asked me what plays I like to run, what plays I felt comfortable with. And I gave them the plays based on what we ran all season and based on what I was doing in the playoff, was the magic that we needed. And that's what wore down the Bills.
Yeah, in those same practice pants as well.
Same practice pants. How about that?
Brilliant stuff. Okay, you just mentioned a few coaches there. How big of a difference was there as a player being coached by one dynasty coach versus an abundance of short-term coaches? How easy was it to keep adapting to playing under lots of regularly changing coaches?
When you have stability, it's like anything else, which is stability, you gain confidence. And with confidence, you gain production. So to maintain one coach for 7 years, 5 of the 7 years, gave me an opportunity to understand my craft. And because again, I'm at the latter part of my career. I'm no young spring chicken anymore. So it just it helps them understand you, because they don't have to keep evaluating you because they know you, because they have history with you. And I think that's what saved my career in New York for the latter part of my career, was the history that I had with Parcells for 5 years. And it just kept going because the coach that took over was my position coach, and he was on the staff. So again, you had history. So those 7 years, I pretty much had the same coaches.
Yeah, nice answer. Okay, of course, the stats speak for themselves. And another one of the truly impressive things about your career, in my eyes, was your ability to bounce back from adversity, both with regards to injury and as well as the stoppages you were mentioning earlier. Because you spent a lot of time on the sideline, unfortunately, either because of injury or those work stoppages in the league. Yet each and every game you played, you truly maximized every touch, because you rushed for 193 yards in your very first game in the NFL, which is an incredible stat. You didn't fumble once in your first 100 touches with the Giants, and had an incredible season in '89 when you won Comeback Player of the Year, of course. So I'd love to know, how much of a challenge did those injuries and the work stoppages prove to you mentally and physically? And what was it particularly that kept you motivated to get back out on the field after your recovery?
Well, the first one in '82, it was about helping your fellow man, making sure that some of the other players that was on the team was given an opportunity to better their future. And after that, it was play football, play football, play football. And then I got hurt in '85, where I missed 9 games. And then '86, I got traded to the Giants, where I was used limitedly. And then '87, we had another short work stoppage. And I didn't get a chance to rebound into 88, I played short yardage and goal line later on in the season. And then 89, I became full-time, went over 1,000 yards again. So the motivation was I knew that I still could play. Mm-hmm. I knew that if I kept myself in good shape, I had a chance of making the team. And then those years in between gave me a chance to my body to rejuvenate. You know, in 82, I was still at the prime of my career when we had the first work stoppage. And then in 87, I was in the latter part of my career, but on the back end of your career, because most running backs, you get between 3 to 5 good years of production. And then after a while, they start looking for a replacement. So I was moving forward toward the latter part of my career, and the work stoppage did make a difference. For me, didn't like it, but it's just what the rules were. And then 88, I actually come in and do short yardage and goal line, which limited the hits on my body. So I got the job in 89. I was about as rejuvenated as one could be. Didn't have much wear and tear on my body. So to play a whole season and be deemed comeback player of the season wasn't a hard chore at all, because I had a lot of rest in between. So it would just go out and do what you do. Your body's strong enough to do it. You had great off-season workout programs. So it was just given a chance. And I was given that in 89 and started off in 90 with the same opportunity until Rodney Hampton became of age and took over.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, Ottis, I'd love to end with some quick fire questions. Are you ready?
Sure, yep.
Let's do it. Okay, favorite takeout food?
Oh, man, come fried chicken, baby, fried chicken.
Brilliant. Okay, favorite ice cream flavor?
Strawberry.
Dogs or cats?
Dog for sure, man.
Dogs. Okay, favorite music artist?
Oh, man, I'm a George Clinton, man. Atomic Dog.
Nice. Okay, favorite sports movie?
Let's see. I love golf, and I guess has to be maybe Tin Cup.
Nice.
10 Cup, yeah.
Did you ever have a welcome to the NFL moment? And if so, who gave it to you?
Oh my gosh. I had like 3. One was Reggie Williams, a linebacker for Cincinnati. I got hit by Hugh Green, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He gave me a good one. And the last one I remember was Keena Turner. When I was playing against the 49ers, I was a Cardinal. Most of my hit was when I was a Cardinal. When I was a Giant, I really didn't get hit. Kind of hit everybody else during that time. I was smart. I knew how to fight back.
Love it. Okay, hardest worker in the weight room?
Believe it or not, Phil Simms was. He was a quarterback, and he really got it on. I mean, he worked out with the offensive lineman, and he really got in there and got down and dirty. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, funniest teammate you've ever had?
Roy Green is pretty darn funny. Tony Galbert, when I was a Giant, was pretty funny, but when I was a Cardinal, Roy Green from Magnolia, Arkansas, was probably one of the funniest guys I've been around.
Nice. Okay, best locker room prank you ever saw?
When a couple of rookies didn't want to honor their tradition, we put some heat or bomb or whatever you want to call it in their jock strap or athletic supporter and watch them try to practice with, pardon my French, I hope I can say it and don't get in trouble, with hot nuts. You might edit that out, but yeah, when they had on a athletic supporter trying to practice football, and that little area that's so sensitive got kind of warm.
Brilliant stuff. Welcome to the team, Rook. Okay, favorite run of all time?
I would say it was a 70-yard run when against the Cowboys my rookie year. It was pretty impressive. I like, and then the Super Bowl one where I hit Mark Kelso with an uppercut when I was running around the left end, and he was coming up, and I wind up and hit him. I would say those two are probably my most impressive runs.
It's funny you mention that, because my next question is describe how it felt to uppercut Bills safety Mark Kelso in one word.
Awesome, baby. Awesome, baby. Awesome, baby.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, given that you compiled over 3,000 yards receiving during your career as well, how important was your pass catching ability to your overall game as a running back?
I think it was important. Again, I go back to Lou Saban. He wanted me to be a all-purpose running back. So in order to do that, you had to be able to run routes, and also you had to be able to pass block. And he was very important on teaching me route running. But when I got to St. Louis, Dick Jamison was my position coach under Jim Hannafin, and one of my mentors, Willard Harrell. He was about 5'9", 5'10" maybe, and he was the best pass block I've ever seen in my life. And he taught me his technique on how to block outside linebackers, and which gave me an advantage on how to be a complete ball player. He's a mentor to me, Roy Green, and Theodis Brown when we were young guys in St. Louis. He kind of took us under his wing, but he really helped me become the player that I end up being, because under his tutoring, he taught me a lot. Taught me how to be a man, what it took to be, he said, anybody could be a pro, but can you be a professional? See, those are two different things. So, and when he broke it down, he said, a pro is happy to be in the NFL. A pro think more about himself and what he can accomplish. A professional respect that he represent an overall audience. His action is not about him. It's about the league. It's about his family. It's about his teammate. And if you understand that you want to be a professional, then you won't be a pro.
Very, very cool. I like that. Okay, at the two Pro Bowls you appeared in 79 and 80, which player was the most impressive in person compared to what you'd only seen on tape before? Who stood out the most?
Well, I had a chance to play against the late and great Walter Payton when I was in St. Louis, because we played them every year for the Governor's Cup during the preseason, so I saw Walter Payton a lot. But when I met Earl Campbell in the Pro Bowl, and I'd seen so much of him in college and watching him in Houston, and to see how big he was. Because I mean, when I saw him, I was coming out from either running or jogging or whatever, and he was getting ready to catch a cab, and he had on some long jeans on, and I saw him, and I walked by him, and I said, God, I look like Earl Campbell. And then I kind of U-turned a little bit because I saw people coming up saying something to him, and I kind of made a little turn and came back to him, and I said, Mr. Campbell? He said, yes, sir. He said, yeah, I'm Earl. I said, I just want to say I'm a big fan of yours. He said, thank you. And he said, I know who you are. But one other person that really took my breath away was when I met Jim Brown. And I was a rookie as well. And we were doing a tennis tournament in Vegas that Jim Hart was a part of and got me involved with. And we was at a meet and greet, and I saw, I heard all the stories about how great Jim Brown was, and he was a TV actor and everything else, and he retired at a young age, and I was just so intimidated. I didn't know what to say or do, and the late Wilma Rudolph was talking to him, and she saw me staring, and she called me over, and she said, I want you to meet the great Jim Brown. And I said, Mr. Brown, I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to meet you. And I said, my name is Ottis O.J. Anderson. He said, son, I know who you are, and I appreciate your work. I was like, wow. So that was probably my all-time wow moment, was meeting him and having him to say he knew of my abilities and saw me play. So that was it for me.
Very cool. What a story. Okay, were you able to keep your practice pants that you famously wore throughout the 1991 playoffs, including the Super Bowl XXV MVP performance? And is it true that Bill Parcells specifically told you to keep wearing them week after week?
He did. And he said, because he was very superstitious. And when we won the Chicago game, and I made the mistakes of wearing my practice pants because I think I were going to play, and Rodney Hampton got hurt and I took over, in the media and the commissioner, Pete Rozelle at the time, office made such a big deal because my pants were so off-colored and really raunchy looking, and it wasn't uniformly coded properly. So when he found out that they were my practice pants and we won, and the next week we were playing San Francisco, he made sure that I had those pants on, but I also had to practice with them like I normally would, and I did. And I practiced every week with them. And that Friday night, Eddie Wagner, who was at the time equipment son of Eddie Wagner Sr., would take my uniform out to the cleaners and try to clean it the best way he could and best way they could and get it back to me. And we played every game with it. And yes, I do have those pants. I have the jersey. I have the shoulder pads. I have the knee pads. I have the thigh pads. I have the shoulder brace I wore underneath the shoulder pads. So I have the chin strap. And I think I had the headband that I had on. But to answer your question, and I had a pair of shoes. I think I had two pair. One I think I gave away, and I have another one. But yes, I do.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, as a kid, which NFL player was your favorite to watch growing up?
Gale Sayers, by far, was one of the most electrifying player I've ever seen play. You know, O.J. Simpson was in the hunt. You know, Franco Harris. Probably a lot of people don't know this name, but Dwayne Thomas, that was a running back for the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. But Gale Sayers, by far, when I was growing up, I had 40 jersey on and the initials OJ on the back of it. So I was combining them two even at a young age and didn't know of them two at the time. Other than Gale Sayers, O.J. Simpson had not made a name for himself, but Gale Sayers probably was the one that I followed. Him and Mike Garrett that played for the Kansas City Chiefs were some very exciting running backs that played.
Awesome stuff. Okay, and finally, the New York Giants regular season record for the 2021 NFL season will be?
If they play 17 games, they're going to be 10-7 and probably make the playoff. And they only play 16 games, they're going to be 10-6.
Nice. Good pick. Ottis, thank you very much for your time today. It's been an absolute honor having you on my show. Where can people find you on social media and check out the great business work I know you're currently doing? I
appreciate you giving that chance. You can, all that Twitter stuff, I just can't remember offhand, but if you go to Tridelix, Tridelix, Tridelix.com, we're the first company that got 5D technology that created a 5D image of product that is by far unbelievable. We have products that appear like it's in a shadow box, like 5D. It has great clarity and great depth perception. And that's what 5D technology does. And that's what we do at Tridelix.com. And also we do trade shows. We build booths at trade shows. We see it starting to come back again. And myself, Lawrence Taylor, Mark Navarro is involved in the company. One company is Metro Exhibits. That's the one that builds booths at trade shows. And then Tridelix is the 5D technology company that create images out of plexiglass.
Cool. It's great to hear that you're still doing that with your ex-teammates. That's awesome. I will make sure to leave all those links down below so people can go and check that out and see what it's like for themselves. Once again, Ottis, thank you very much and have a great day.
Thanks, Ab.
That was my interview with the fantastic Ottis O.J. Anderson, an incredible player on the field as well as just a great guy off of it too. Let's hope he's able to make his way into the Pro Football Hall of Fame at some point in the future, because after the incredible career he had, both in St. Louis and New York, he thoroughly deserves it. Make sure to go and check out Ottis on all of his social media accounts, as well as his innovative business Tridelix. All the links you need are in the description of this episode. I've got many more great guests coming very soon, so stay tuned right here on Seb Talks Sports. And to take us out as usual, here's another brilliant track by All-Pro New York Giants running back, turned music creator and friend of the show, David Wilson. Catch you soon, guys.